Hello, sunshines. Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on all the internet places, all the YouTube places, all the internet places. Hi, how are you? Today is Saturday, I think it's the 28th of July, 2025, and I don't know. I'm feeling kind of discombobulated right now. I've started rearranging my room. This is my bed right here. And I want my bed to be where this chair is. This chair was over there, and I need to shift all the things. So my room is a disaster area right now, and it's really distracting to me. But I want to record this and do it without the air conditioner. My window unit is now in, and so I have to do it early-ish in the morning before I get all the things done that I want to get done today. So hi, how are you? I'm sorry I'm discombobulated. I also have a light source coming from behind the camera. So I hope that's not too reflecty in my glasses. If it is, I'm sorry, but it's kind of overcast today. So if you're going to see anything, I need to do the light thing. So there's just going to be a giant shadow. Hi. I can chill. We can chill. It's chill here. We're just talking about knitting. I don't know why I'm feeling, I do know why I'm feeling so blah! It's because it was another very busy week. So I thought we had discussed a few weeks ago about how summer break was going to be kind of chill. It has not been. So let's talk about knitting. I feel like this might be a shorter episode because I feel like I haven't done very much at all, but we shall see. All right. For some reason, I feel better now about recording. My daughter just interrupted. She finished her daily list of things she had to do to be able to get her technology, which lives in my room until she's done with her list. Anyway, I have a finished object. Last week, there were 2 or 3 that I wanted to finish, but I only finished one, and I did not even finish it on the deadline that I said last week, but that's okay. So this is the Flawless Flower Beds pattern by Alendria Knits. I think they turned out so very cool. So this pattern was released on Thursday. I thought it was going to be released on Friday. And so my goal was to finish these by yesterday, Friday. But then she sent something in the group chat on Instagram about the pattern was being released on Thursday. And I think she sent that Tuesday or Wednesday. And I was like, oh, never mind. I'm not going to meet the deadline. So then I let myself off the hook. And when the pattern was released, I was here. I had 2 repeats to go. So I just put a picture on Instagram of my finished sock and my incomplete sock, and it's fine. But something that's really cool about Alendria Knits colorwork patterns is that she gives you inverted color charts. So as you can see, I have one sock where the saturated color is the main color, and I have one sock where the speckled color is the main color. And I just think that's really nice because it also means your brain doesn't have to work harder if you want the dark color to be the dark color on the chart, or if you want the light color to be the dark color on the chart, because you just go to the other chart. So I really, really like that about her patterns. I think it turned out really great. I have very little left. So I had 13 minis, 5-gram minis from Haberland from Frankensocks kits, and this is what I have left. So pretty pleased about that. Obviously I supplemented with some gray, which is fine. which is great actually to use up some of this gray because I don't need all of this gray in my life. And I bought it to use up for heels and toes and stuff. Well, originally I bought it for a different project. What did I buy it for? Oh, for that granny square blanket that I put together in December. That's what I originally bought it for, and then I bought 3 more skeins this year for heels, toes, and cuffs, and a blanket, which I think I'm going to talk about this week because I don't really have a lot to talk about. Since I don't have a lot to talk about, if this episode isn't very long, maybe I will show you all of my yarn that I've gotten this year, just like as a quick review of what all I want to use up, because finished project means that I have an empty needle, and I'm trying to decide if I want to cast something new on. I did just cast something new on this week, so maybe I won't. But if I do cast something new on, what do I want to cast on sock wise? If I want to cast a new sock on, which I don't need to do, but maybe I want to. I don't know. We'll see. I'll decide that at the end of the video, so I'll let you know then. I also finished a sock though. Look at this pencil sock. So last time I saw you, I was just before the colorwork section. Look at how cute that colorwork turned out. I think it's so good. I think it's everything that I wanted it to be. I did have a little mishap. Knitting mishap, not like a real mishap with this sock. I must have calculated my rounds incorrect for this, because when it was time to close up the toe, I was like, something doesn't feel right. And I don't usually try on my socks before I close up the toe because I know what fits my foot. But then there's color work, right? And color work changes things a little bit. So I was just about to close up the toe and I tried it on and I was like, ooh, that's going to be too small. So the color work must have because it's less stretchy, the row gauge must have been a little bit off. So I put it in timeout because the toe's in black yarn and it was nighttime or evening time. I don't know, sometime when there wasn't good light, and I was going to rip it out and then re-pick up the first round of black, I think. I don't know. I don't remember what the thought process was. I just know that it went in timeout for a couple days. And then my 100 days project, temperature project, was the pencil socks. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll pick it back up. So I did and finished the toe. And I also started, look at this yarn barf. So rude. And it happened when I was pulling out the yarn to cast on, and instead of winding up this yarn, I was like, no, I'm not dealing with that right now. I was feeling very sassy. I did start the second sock, I think, while the toe was in timeout, but just barely. I cast it on with a provisional cast on because I'm doing I did a folded hem. Now I'm, on this pink section where I just have to knit straight for less rounds than I thought I did. I'm just going to go ahead and change where this marker is because I'm using it to count my rounds. So when I put it in, so I have 5 rounds of a folded hem and then 10 rounds of just stockinette in the round. In my brain, I thought that I had 15 rounds total. In my brain, I thought I had 15 rounds of stockinette after that, which I don't. So that's why I just had to change that. So yeah, pencil socks are going well. The yarn is Knit Picks Felici in Dogwood Heather. The gray is Ash. The yellow is Lemon Drop. The wood, the light wood color is Horchata, and then the toe is in black. So yay, I have the first one of those finished, which is exciting. Although like I'm kind of like, the deadline for that isn't set until September, but my like self-imposed deadline for the next two projects is June 30th, which is, I mean, I have all day today because it's pretty early. And then I have tomorrow and Monday in which to finish these projects for them to count for June, which is a totally arbitrary deadline because I could wait as many days as I needed to record my next Crafty Goals update, but I want to finish them in June. So it's a Q2. So it's a real Q2 finish and not cheating. Even though it's not really cheating, it feels like cheating. So this one is the Sirena sock. And last time you saw it, it was here. It was very close to starting the repeat above the heel with no, where the repeat is only on the front of the sock so that none of this lace gets messed up by a heel. I have the heel flap completed. I need to do the heel turn and work down the foot. And then, so there's 4 full repeats and then 1 other repeat on the leg that just has the repeat on the front of the sock. But down the foot, there's 6 repeats. Can I do this in 3 days? Absolutely. If this is my focus project, I can do this. I just need to make sure that I'm focused on it. And this yarn is Dogwood Heather because I have so much of this Dogwood Heather color left. Actually, I'm getting close to the end. I have this, and I might have one more 50-gram ball, but this might be my last 50-gram ball. I can't remember. I'm getting close to using all of it up because I bought a lot to make my oldest kiddos thigh highs and fingerless mitts last year because I didn't know how much yarn it was going to take. Less than I bought is the answer. So I've used this color for a lot of things now. I use them for a vanilla pair of socks, a pair of fingerless mitts, my oldest kiddos, leg warmers and thigh highs, and then now the pencil socks and this. I'll check when I finish this. So next week I'll have an answer of how much I have left of this because I really just want this to be used up. I don't love this color anyway. I'm not a pink person. I know you can't tell right now because I'm making a lot of things with pink, but they're for other people. So, but that is the second sock. So here's the first one. So I just need to finish that, and that will give me one of my squares done on my Crafty Goals. And then the other project that I need to finish for the Crafty Goals square to be marked off is this, this project. So this is the first sock. It's been done. And last week I was, barely started. Looks like barely started on this second one. I don't know why the marker's on the inside though. But barely started, I guess, on this second sock. I am past the gusset on the foot. So let's look at it. I have like this much to go. That's not that much. If I focus on these two projects, honestly, if I focus on these two projects, I could have them done by tomorrow. I could totally have one done by today. This one would be so easy to finish today because it's croy socks. All of my socks that I've shown you before this croy sock were knit on US size knit. Words, are they a thing? They were knit on a US size 0 2.0 millimeter needles, and the croy sock is knit on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. Do you like how I went robot there for a second? My when I'm having trouble speaking in my classroom, and I do that, my students are like, why are you a robot? Because kids, sometimes words are hard. So, and all of my finished socks, by the way, all of the ends are woven in. Are you so proud? They're like properly finished socks. All the ends are woven in and done. And on some of my other socks, I've already woven in the ends because I was like, well, I have the needle out for these anyway, so may as well. Not this one though, apparently. Well, because I know why. It's because this was rolled up like this. So hopefully I can get these 2 projects finished, these 2, in the next 2.5 days, we'll say. We'll say we're at a half of a day done now, I guess. Honestly, I'm probably going to make a bunch of progress on one of them during editing of this vlog. Maybe I'll use this one for editing. Even though it's highly patterned, I don't think I have a lot to add in, but maybe I do. This Croy sock is the... Uh-oh. Is it the blue raspberry colorway? I want to say it is, but I don't know for sure. Maybe I'm making that up. Oh, but look at how tiny this cake is now. It's a very little. All right. 2 more sock whips to go. This is why I don't necessarily need to cast on a new sock whip, but I kind of want to, but I don't need to. I was right in this blue area last week when I showed it to you. So this sock doesn't have a, sorry, covering my face. This sock doesn't have a real pattern. It's 2 stripes worth of knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, and then a garter ridge section, and then a stockinette section, then a garter ridge section, and then a stockinette section, and then the heel turn and heel flap. And now I am starting on the, what's that called? The gusset. I was looking at my foot, like my foot would tell me. It's the gusset, and I started the heel after a full pattern repeat. I only have 1 ball of this. I'm making this for my littlest kiddo who has size... she's just about to grow out of a US size 6 women's sock. So I only have 1 ball. So I didn't want to do shorties out of this because then I felt like I'd have too much yarn left over, but also I didn't want to make the leg like 2 color repeats or something. So it's just, you know, it's not a long sock, but it's not a shorty either. There's a name for this length, isn't there? I don't know what it is. But I put it aside so that I could focus on those other sock projects. So I'm probably not going to pick this up until I get one of those finished, or like work on it very minimally until I get one of those finished. The heel is again that ash color from Knit Picks. The main color is Knit Picks Felici Ribbon Candy. Can you see now this stripe, how it's got like specklies in it? It's so cute. It's so cute. I like this sock. I'm looking forward to picking it back up. And then the last sock whip that I have is the socks for my oldest kiddo. And there's a darning needle that just lives in the sock, so I'm weaving in the ends as I go. So here is, this was the first one that I cast on, and I didn't do a lot of work on this sock this week, which is fine. Go ahead and move that. You know, probably like 6 rounds or so on this sock, but I did do on the other one probably like, nope, That would be my marker. I did a whole stripe on the other one, so that's exciting. So a stripe and a half. Since I last recorded, my goal is 2 stripes a week, which my weeks restart on Monday, so totally doable to finish. Yeah, I could finish the stripe this tomorrow. That would be good. So those are coming along. I was talking about using up this dogwood heather, right? And I made this exact same thing for my kiddo last year, a pair of thigh highs and a pair of arm warmers using that dogwood heather and black. But this yarn is black from Knit Picks, but the orange sparkly is Cattails Yarns in the Gleeman's Cloak colorway. And it's got sparklies. So I'm glad that I'm making progress on these, because it's just, you know, they're fine. They're just not my favorite, but they're fine. I've barely touched, so other projects that I've been working on but I've barely touched are the cowl for my sister, the pink and purple cowl. I think I'll probably show that next week. I maybe put a ridge or 2 on the cowl this week. I didn't pick it up almost at all. And then my various blanket projects, which I'm going to talk about one in a moment. But first, I have a new cast on, and I don't know where I put the yarn label for this yarn. This is a Bernat yarn. It's just a acrylic yarn. And do you remember, for those of you who have been here, do you remember what I told my kiddos in my life that they were not allowed to request for a holiday gift? Do you remember? I asked my youngest earlier this week because I realized that she had never told me what she wanted for the holidays this year. Because I make my kiddos and my sister's kiddos gifts, and my sister and her boyfriend and my aunt, and I don't buy anybody gifts. I make people things, which they are pretty excited about. They get to pick what they want. And my daughter had never told me what she wanted. Well, the grown-ups don't get to pick, they get socks. But they all want the socks. They're all very excited to get hand-knit socks. So my daughter, my littlest daughter, I was like, what do you want? And she was like, oh, I'd like a soft pink sweater. Girl, the rule is no sweaters. But I am doing really, really well at gift knitting this year. Like, things are started, or I mean, I have gifts finished for some of the people on my list, and almost all of the gifts for everybody else are started. So I'm gonna knit my daughter a sweater. And I'm going to knit my daughter the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits because I don't know why I'm pulling from the outside of the skein. I'm kind of annoyed that I'm doing that. I guess I could like cut it and attach from the inside of the skein, and maybe I will when I get to the end of the collar. I don't want to weave in and end from the beginning of the collar. I could just restart the collar. I'm not very far into it. What am I on? I'm only on the second round of this. I just started it this morning. So Flax by Tin Can Knits. I'm not knitting a swatch. I'm using the recommended needle size. And I asked my littlest, like, did she want like a fitted sweater or a slightly oversized sweater. I didn't want to buy, this is so mean. I didn't want to buy a pattern for her. I wanted to see if she wears the sweater first. And then if she wants another sweater next year, I'll get nicer yarn. This yarn, I'm going to need 3 skeins of it. And they're on sale right now for $2 at my local supermarket. So it's going to be a $6 sweater, or maybe they're on sale for $3. So a $9 sweater, I don't know, less than $10. Because let's see if my kiddo actually wears the sweater that I make for her. It's possible. She is going into high school, and in K through 8 she had to wear a uniform. But in high school, there's no uniform. There's barely a dress code. So maybe she'll wear it. And if she wears it, I will. I really thought about ordering her a wool blend for this sweater. But I don't know. I don't want to make her something that she's not going to wear and like spend a bunch of money for a sweater that she's not going to wear. But if she wears it, I'll make her a nicer sweater in the future. Nicer. That's like, not that acrylic is awful. This acrylic isn't particularly soft, but it's not scratchy either. So I just think that a merino would be nicer in my life. But also she's gonna grow some more, theoretically. I mean, she's only 14, so she's definitely gonna grow some more. So, you know, when she's a little older, if she still wants a sweater, I'll make her a nicer sweater. But I was talking to her this morning, and I asked her if she wanted a fitted or oversized. So she wants oversized. I took all of her measurements. She measured the size small, but I'm going to make the size medium, which is 2 sizes up, because the Tin Can Knits patterns for the, I think it's called the Simple Patterns. It's a collection that's free, and it's just really, really basic things: hats, mittens, sweaters, a cardigan, socks, like basic patterns that you can use different yarn weights for. And it comes in size like baby to like many XLs. I don't exactly know how many. I don't remember. There's a small, and then there's a small medium, and then there's a medium. So I'm doing the size medium for her using the recommended needle size, which I'm generally a slightly looser knitter. So that would make it a little bit bigger. Plus I'm going up to needle sizes because she wants a, did I even get to the thought? Did I get to the thought where she said she wanted a cozy sweater? I can't remember if I said that or not, but that's what she wants. She wants a slightly oversized cozy sweater. So that's what I'm going to make for her. And, you know, this is why I probably don't need to start another sock, because now I'm working on a sweater. But the other thing too is, like, it's a sweater and it's summertime. So how much am I really going to work on it? Hopefully a lot. I'd like to have it done by the end of summer. And if you're new here, you won't know this, but we don't do, my kids do Christmas with their dad. I don't do Christmas. I'm not opposed to people wanting to do Christmas. It's just not for me. But I do make everybody winter holiday gifts because we get together. So in my house, though, my kids get their winter holiday gifts as soon as it starts to get chilly, because it's usually a pair of socks or a hat or whatever, something to keep them warm. So they'll get theirs, you know, as soon as they're done and it's chilly. Like once both of those conditions are met, they get their gift. So it's like a winter holiday gift, but it's not really a winter holiday gift. Whatever. I am still reading Sky Full of Elephants. I haven't really read that much. I feel like I haven't knit that much this week. I feel like I've been in recovery mode and it's been very stressful. So I'm only on page like 125. I really anticipated finishing the book. It's only like 300 pages. I anticipated finishing it this week, but that's not going to happen. All right, I said I was going to talk about one blanket. So this is the blanket that I'm choosing to talk about. It's not a full blanket, but right up here on my shelf, I have a bunch of containers that have these, what are they called? African flower hexagon things, I think. Something like that. And I have some of them that pause. I started this blanket forever ago. I saw an African flower motif on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And I have this plan to make all of my kiddos and my sister's kiddos high school graduation blankets. The oldest is very neurospicy and hasn't graduated from high school, but I gave it to them for a birthday because it's not really their fault that they didn't graduate. COVID happened and that messed up where they were on track, and it was very hard to get back on track. So different life trajectory. Cool. Gave them their blanket. Her middleest kiddo graduated from high school last month, so I gave them their blanket. Her youngest kiddo is a senior coming up this year, and so that's what the linen stitch blanket needs to be finished for. So I have less than a year to finish that blanket. Fine. My oldest kiddo graduates the year after that, so I have to have the hexagon or the hexi puff blanket done. Okay. And then my youngest is about to start high school. Her blanket is these African flowers. And I started putting the motifs together using this wool-like yarn from Michaels, but I only have this one ball. And it's very thin. I think on the label it said it was like a fingering weight, but it's definitely like a light fingering, maybe a heavy lace weight. And I only have the one ball. And it was in stores when I started putting them together, so it was forever ago, but now it's not. So I'm going to take these apart, these ones, and put them back together using Knit Pick Stroll in white after I finish the wrap that I'm making. But I have some, no, which one is it? This one? Yeah, this one. I have some flowers that are white or light or just will fade away with a white background. So like this one obviously looks fine on a white background. This one looks fine on a white background, but a white flower would just get lost. So my plan for those lighter colored ones is to put a gray background around it. And I have time to work on this blanket, like all of the other ones, the other two now are much higher priority. But I also don't want to just leave it for 3 years. Obviously, I'm going to be making more flowers. I don't know how many flower motifs I have. I don't know how big it's going to be right now. I could lay it out and figure it out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue to make flower motifs because worst case scenario is I make the blanket and then make something else. It could be anything. It could be, I could make the blanket bigger. I could make a garland. I could, whatever. But I've been using this Knit Picks Ash, which is what I'm bordering it with. I've been using it a fair amount in other projects, like socks. So every time I pull out the Knit Picks Ash to work on a project, when I cut the yarn and before I put the Knit Picks Ash away, I just go ahead and quickly put the border on. It's 2 rounds. It doesn't take very long, like at once, but it feels a little tedious when you're just doing borders on things forever. So that's this blanket. Oh, it's so cute. It's going to be so pretty. And my thought is to do like every 10th flower as a gray flower. We'll see how that works out once I figure out how wide I'm making it, if 10 makes sense, because I don't want them to stack. I don't want the grays to stack. I want them to look kind of random, but they don't have to be like random, if that makes sense. We'll see, but that's what I'm working on. Okay, I guess this episode wasn't very short, so I'm not going to pull out all of my yarns. So you'll just have to see whether or not I decide to cast on a new sock this week. I probably shouldn't, but it could happen. I don't know. All right, friends. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I hope that your week was okay. Oh, the person who went into the psych ward is out, so that's okay. But again, that was really stressful just dealing with all of that this week. But that's over. We had a meeting for summer school because that starts. I have 1 more week of summer break, but we had like a summer school meeting this week, so I had to go to work this week, which, just another thing. But yeah, I'm feeling exhausted this week. Hopefully this coming week I will actually relax. It's so funny because at the meeting or before the meeting started, people were like, "Oh, how has your break been?" And I was like, not a break. So I'm hoping this coming week is chill. I'm hoping that you're getting whatever you need from your life. If you need some chill, if you need some productivity, whatever it is that you are needing, I hope you're getting it. And I will see you in about a week. Bye for now, friends.